The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everybody to the Augmented Reality for Architecture webinar. My name's Glenn Sinclair, and today we'll be running through a little bit of an intro to A2K Technologies, what we do, and an intro to myself. Also, and we'll just jump straight into what is augmented reality, apart from a mouthful. So I'll be abbreviating it to AR sometimes. So how it works, a little bit of an intro to the technology itself, what's going on in the background as we use it. Then we'll look at some of the applications for architecture that I've used in the past and some that I've come up with this week. And we'll jump into then how to do that yourself. So I'll be showing a free app that's available for iPhone and Android that you could be able to use with Revit and 3D Studio Max to display your designs in augmented reality. I'll spend a little time at the end showing you another couple of cool applications for augmented reality, a bit of a takeaway there, and then I'll leave some time for questions at the end. So A2K Technologies, we're the largest Autodesk technology partner in Australia and New Zealand, over 150 staff as you see there. So great technical team. If we don't have someone local to you, we're not afraid to fly someone out to help you out. It's not just Autodesk products that we do. We do, as you see there, HP, Microsoft, Adobe. So if you're after a one-stop shop to take away some of the hassle of IT, we'd be able to provide you with a hardware new computer with Windows installed and configured, with potentially the full Adobe and Autodesk suites ready to go for you if that was something you were looking for. So not just software, hardware, we also have a large consulting team, and we do a lot of training there. You can see the different training products down in the lower right, do a lot of training courses. So myself, my name's Glenn Sinclair. So I'm working as a technical consultant. My background is as an architectural BIM manager, predominantly with Woods Bagot Architecture there. So in their Dubai studios, Brisbane, and most recently down in Melbourne. So I started on the very small, drafting houses and residential, and have worked on some of their largest projects there as well. So big breadth of projects there. So what is augmented reality? So augmented reality is, virtual reality is something that we're familiar with from computer games and movies, where the entire scene or the entire digital scene is computer generated or fake. Augmented reality looks to combine the real world, usually by a video feed of your mobile device, and augment it with some digital information. So on the left there you see a simple example of pointing the phone at a series of shops, and the digital information is the type of building that it is, a gallery, museum, restaurant. So a very simple augment of a piece of text that may be location aware and just appears above the correct building there. What we're going to be more looking at is augmentation of 3D models. So the way that works is we're looking at taking a video feed, and the case off to the right is with a laptop and webcam. So that is viewing a scene, and it's looking for a marker. Now this marker here of this open book with a flat picture of an apple on it, the computer is looking for that marker to see its position and its scale. So wherever it sees the marker on the computer screen, not only does it display the 2D flat image of the book from the video feed, it then augments the 3D model on top of it. So in that case, we've got an apple. So it's mostly a real scene in the background, and the apple itself is digital information augmented onto that scene. A few other little examples there of a maps program. Again, the video feed of where this guy's standing, and then the augment is the map information, street information over the top of the image. And then the next example here being this lady here doing some online shopping where she's potentially got her webcam set up just looking at herself, and the augment is the clothes that she's trying on. So the digital clothes appear in the correct spot. So she's using her body shape as the marker so that the software knows where to put that clothes and at what scale. And then she waves her hands over the different buttons to do little bits and pieces there. Alright, so that is the basics of it. It is one of those ones where once you see it, you will understand. But a little bit hard to get across on a webinar. So I'm going to do my best to get this technology in order. Got a few different applications that I'll be using to attempt to show you what I'm seeing in the room through my phone here. So I've just got an iPhone that is connected up to my computer for screen mirroring, and that does not seem to want to work. That's just great. Okay, we'll try one more time here. Oh, that was it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're looking at the view of my phone there, and you're about to see the boardroom here at A2K. So if I first open my camera application, I do apologize if the screen resolution is not really high quality, and also if the lag there is causing this to look a bit jittery. But I am recording this, and it will be available afterwards on our website as a webinar to view. And also, if you're really interested, you can have one of our guys would be more than happy to come out and see you and have a chat about technology generally and show you the augmented stuff there. So we're looking at the screen view here inside the boardroom. So I have a printed piece of paper in front of me. So that is what the computer will be looking for when I activate this app, to know where to position the 3D model. I just wanted to show you that it's just a normal piece of paper. I've mounted it to some solid cards so that it doesn't bend there. So I'll exit out of the camera app, and we'll activate the app that I'm going to be using predominantly to show you this today is this app called Augment. And I'm sorry that it is on the side like that. So this app Augment is a free app that you can download. Like I said, available for iPhone and Android there. And so again, now we're looking at the video feed. But at this stage, the poor old house there doesn't know where it's sitting. It's sitting out in the middle of space. So you can see it is augmented over the top of my scene, but it's floating in space there. So the second the software recognizes the marker on the table there, is going to correctly position that house on the marker. So again, I apologize about the lag that you'll probably be experiencing. If I just slowly stand up, walk around there, you can hopefully see that this is a fairly good little example of the augmented reality there. So more than that, obviously, when I move the marker, the piece of paper in this case, the software is going to recognize the orientation there, and since it is mounted to a solid piece of card, I can in fact pick up the piece of paper to view and sort of zoom in. So as far as software controls go, if you've got clients or potentially presenters that aren't so tech savvy with the orbit, rotate command and things like that, it doesn't get much easier to rotate than to actually physically move a piece of paper. So, and to zoom in, I'm going to bring the piece of paper closer to myself. So yeah, you can't go too far wrong with the presentation there. It does need to be able to see the majority of the marker, or a piece of the marker. If I move off to the left, it's done okay. But there you can see once the piece of paper is out of view, it's just going to again attempt to position that building randomly until I can see enough of the augmented marker in the camera view to position that. So there are some basic controls with the phone. Didn't think I was going to demonstrate this. Okay, here we go. So you can do a pinch and zoom on the touch screen of the phone to zoom in, to scale the model. So I can have it at quite a large scale there, and sort of use that to zoom in. And then here we go. To rotate the model, I'll get two fingers, push them on the screen, and slide the two fingers together to rotate the model without necessarily rotating the marker on the boardroom table there. So if I rotate around to my area of interest, zoom in, and and a single finger on the screen there is going to move the model about. So it doesn't have to be moved by moving the marker. We can drag the model about with our finger as well. So this is a reasonable quality little model. It's just up there on the website as an example. I didn't create this one. I'll show you a few that I've done in a second. All right, what else are we going to? Yes, no. So yeah, that's just a little example of the technology, how it works, what it does. In the app itself, got a few options. We don't necessarily need to be looking at the model in augmented mode. We can click this little 3D view button, and I apologize, it's on the side, but we can just view the 3D model in space. Portrait there. Okay, we can just view the 3D model without necessarily looking at it in augmented mode, so that's really quite great. And when we upload our own models there, we can put the little URL down the bottom there to view those. Okay, so that was a few things that are possible with the free version of the app there. The little marker that I was looking at was the default marker, which is the Augment one that you can print out off their website. Whoops, sorry, I will go back to landscape here. You've got a few options. You can have it looking to scan, oops, sorry about that, to scan an augmented marker. So if you go for the paid version of the app, you can actually have it picking up your company logo potentially, or any other image, and loading a certain model wherever it sees that image. So you can either, you predefine a model of 3D model of your logo spinning about, I suppose, or in the architectural world, we would be potentially looking at getting a nice 3D model of one of our designs and augmenting that onto the scene there. It is taking quite a while now. With the, oh, there we go. Okay, so at this now, if I just move this model out of the way for a second, we're actually using the A2K Technologies logo there as the marker for the 3D model. So it doesn't have to be that crazy swirly pattern that we saw earlier. It can be another image, and it can be your own logo. So that is as shown on the on my large A4 version there. I can also get probably my little business card here, and it should pick up that is the same image, and now I've got the mini version. So you see there it scales the model depending on the size of the image that it's looking for, so it's going to automatically scale up and scale down. But yeah, we can still manually scale that up. If I scale it to the full size of the card, there you go, it's increased in size here too. So that was a custom marker there. Also, I wanted to show you this particular model is out of Revit. So it's been modeled using Revit, taken through to 3D Studio Max, which I'll be demonstrating a bit later, and then rendered in Max, ready for upload. So you can see I've got a little bit of furniture in there. The lighting is not ideal. I apologise about the lag there. But if I zoom in a little, you see we've got our tapware and bits and pieces on there too. So that's that guy there. So just showing you the custom trackers. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Augment one. And again, starting to look at Revit models. So this is a fairly detailed Revit model, but we could be doing it with something a lot simpler as well. So the simplified version of that potentially is something that I've prepared over there on the table, and that was a printed out scene. Again, I'm just going to have to switch back to the camera app here on my phone. Okay. So this image has just been printed out at A2 there, and it's an image. It's nearby to our office. We're just here on Collins Street in Melbourne. So I've just chosen this site that's this close by as my proposed building site. And so what I've done here is just taken a screen grab of a piece of the augmented marker there. So the augmented default marker, which is this one back here, doesn't necessarily need to see the entirety of that marker. It will still work seeing just a piece of the marker. So what I've done is just chosen the top left corner there in paint or something, pasted that onto there. So what I want to show you is that it doesn't necessarily need to be a 3D model that is being randomly scaled, that you can pinch and zoom and scale the model up and down and around the show. We can actually have a set scale onto our model. So if I activate my little simple tower model here in the Augment software, you can see the tower is sort of floating in space at the moment, but the second it sees my augmented marker properly, it's going to position the tower in its spot there, in the proposed location. Now, in the boardroom here, we do have some pretty harsh lighting for this, so we're getting a few reflections off the piece of paper. So again, another apology that if the model is floating around a little there and seems to be jittering, but we don't have the perfect marker here. So that is just a small piece of the augmented marker. Obviously, the larger the marker, the better. So if I show you over to my A4 marker, it's going to have no problems at all tracking that marker. And if I get my little piece of paper and go up to the A3 size, we're going to have an even better result where it's very steady. Almost no matter what the lighting conditions, it can still see enough of that image to track successfully here. But yes, it's obviously a little random and out in space. So back to my little site here. If I get this guy in the right position. So we've got our tower there, and we've got sort of the context in 2D from the aerial photo. But what we can do is also add more models there. So if I scroll down to a few of the options, you see I've got the option there to add model. So I can add more than one model into this scene. So I'm going to add my little context model that I've created earlier and have both of those models. Now I have preset the location of these models. Backwards, okay, I'm going to walk around. So that I get the buildings, a little of the context in there in 3D. Sorry if I'm going a bit faint, I have walked to the other side of the room. I'm going to load in another context model, which is the ones next door, and then a third context model. I should have brought a microphone. So you see there we've got a little of the context in 3D there, mapped to the size of the photo, in position, so no need to manually scale these items with your finger or anything like that. We actually preset the location of these objects. Whoop, so there she couldn't see the marker. There she is, back in position. All right. So the idea of presetting the actual the size of the object or of the model in this case, you do need to have an account for that. So what we can do is once you've got an Augment account, you can log in to the app on your phone, and then you've got this settings option here. And I apologize, I'm going to rotate that back around for you. It does seem to have turned black. There we go, okay. Okay. So yes, once it is set up, we can lock the position here. So I have just set the model up and then enabled the freeze position, freeze scale, and freeze rotation in there. So if I take those options off, and we'll throw a few more on down here and hit save, now this model is once again available to be resized to whatever we think. So if I can get my pinch and zoom, I can make it smaller, larger, start to look at rotating it around and whatnot here. A couple of the other settings I turned on there were shadows, so if we turn that on, not looking very exciting. And then there was another one in there which was lights, but we won't bother looking at that. So that was one sort of presentation is entire buildings modelled up completely and displayed in that way. Another potential use for the technology is, if I switch here back to landscape, is for understanding potentially on site or of drawings. I was hoping to have a small floor plan done up, but I just got this little this detail example done. So this is again a custom marker that I've done, and the marker is in fact a detail, a section view of a revit project there. So it does need to load up there. So it has scanned the detail in the background so that it knows which model to load. And then again, I've preset the size of that model and the position to be correct, hopefully. So once the app loads up here, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the little questions box there of the webinar, of the Citrix webinar there. So yeah, I'll get to them at the end if I can. Oh, that's gone black again. That's just correct. There we go. So this is a reasonably detailed little Revit model. I guess it's downloading it now. Again, on one of the other paid version of the apps, you can actually download the models to the phone so that you don't need to have them download each time. Okay, so now when it sees the marker again over top of the 2D section there, we in fact get the 3D of that space. So for client understanding of a detail or a section, I guess it doesn't get much better than showing them it in 3D. And if they can relate that to the 2D drawing that you're asking for sign-off on, then all the better. So again, I've just got this piece of paper next to my piece of cardboard. So from a 2D detail, we can show them exactly what the situation was there. I guess I can still move this around. No, I've locked moving there. But trust me, the 2D detail is still there in the background. But now we've got that explained in 3D there. So these three little examples of the house, of the city, of the detail there, are all scaled down examples. So scaled down as we do our drawings, scaled down to 1 to whatever scale. Some more exciting examples come when we start to think about it in a one-to-one context. So I'm going to just quickly pin my little Augment marker up on the wall and have a look at a piece of furniture a piece of furniture that is modelled, again in Revit, may have been nicer straight in 3D Max, but modelled one-to-one. So I've mounted my marker up on the wall here, and as the software recognises the marker, I can see this virtual furniture in place here. Obviously, I'm not standing in a bathroom looking at the real sink and tap. This is augmented furniture here. So again, the phone's just seeing the little marker there up on the whiteboard and augmenting it with this information. So huge uses for this potentially with with furniture or software or house sales. If the client can walk into the house and see the default display or the default option in place, but then put on the goggles or lift up their iPhone and see the upgraded options, you can show those things, those upgrades of furniture or upgraded spaces with walls knocked down and things moved around with the one show home or with the one object in front of you. So all of the options would in fact be virtual, and just one option is actually physically built. So that's something that's quite fun. So that was one, the vanity there. I was hoping to have another wee example done up whereby looking at the augmented marker, we would in fact see, if I just move this aside, augmented marker there in the background, we would in fact see an, if I can get it, oh there we are, an opening in the wall looking through to another office. So potentially, you walk into a boardroom presentation, you can show them their office fit out in the next room, or with augmented reality, they can walk up, they can sort of look through the gap, look through the opening and see the future expansion through the office there. Didn't quite get time to whip that one up though. Okay, so apologies if anyone's feeling seasick after watching that, but I'm going to now exit out of the app and out of the screen sharing software there. Oh yeah, the other example. Oh, I've closed it now. I'm going to show you a very basic example again of an upgraded TV sitting here in the boardroom, but we'll leave that. So how do we go about that? How do we go about creating these yourself? So I'm going to show you the workflow right from Revit through to 3D Max. Just quickly, just a bit of an overview of the detail one that I did there. So in Revit, we had the detail in question that was causing the confusion on a sheet here. So this is quite convenient, done in Revit, done as a detail already. So to actually get that into a 3D view, we can very easily, I don't want to give away my, giving it away. Take that off. So if we have a 3D view of the entire project, we can actually very easily crop down to a detail view in Revit by using the view cube here. I can right click and say orient to view, sections, section 1, and that's going to automatically crop the 3D view down to viewing the piece of the model that I'm interested in, which was the same as my detail. Sorry, but I can't help training. Okay, webinar mode. So there we have the piece of the model that we are interested in displaying in augmented reality. So what we can do is, there's a couple of different methods. We can, on the application button here, use the suite workflow if you're using the building design suite with Max obviously and Revit. We can use the suite workflow there, but I still prefer to export an FBX file just so that I've got it there sitting and I can easily update the FBX when I need to, or reuse that same FBX. So we'd save out the FBX file there, which I have already saved out somewhere else. So detail was the file there. So we save that out as an FBX file, and then we come into 3D Max, ready to work with that file. So in 3D Studio Max, we've got two options for bringing in, importing files like that. So I could use the link FBX option, but actually in the Augment app that we're going to be using, the Augment plugin, sorry, for Max, it doesn't allow you to upload linked objects. So we're actually going to go over to import, and we're going to import the file there. So that was that guy there. and I'm going to leave that on the default options there. They're going to be fine. So Revit and 3D Studio Max now share a common material library, so that's really awesome for the materials side of things. There's not much that we have to really do there. That's excellent. So we've got our little piece of the project brought through here. So what we're going to do is just check the render settings and then get ready to upload that. So first thing we need to do is just check that the exposure control is turned on. So through from Revit by default, we have also brought through our location data and our sun settings. So at the moment that sun is going to be extremely bright, so in 3D Max we simply activate some exposure control there, and 15 is going to be fine. We can hit the little, sorry I'm going a bit fast, you might have to re-look at this, so 8 on the keyboard gets you into environment and effects and render preview, just to see how this is going to work. So what the plugin that we're going to use is going to do, it's going to bake these textures. So it's going to render this little scene and bake those textures on there with the current lighting and the current materials. So I'm going to close out of that. So the exposure looks okay, but my sun is in the wrong position. It is off to the left rather than off to the right rather than off to the left, and I'm not being overly accurate, so I'm just going to move that over to the other side so that the shadows come in the right direction, and then I'll run a quick render just to see the type of result that I'm going to get once I go online there. And that's starting to look okay. A few shadows in there. Materials are looking fine in the background there, so that's going to be good. So something really important that we need to do with to work with the Augment plugin that I've got installed on 3D Max here is to check the naming schemes used in the Revit materials and in the Revit objects. So all right, that's come in okay, so I'm happy with that. So what the Augment plugin does is it bakes out these materials and objects into separate files. So those files are stored under the user drive, I think it's app data, local, Autodesk. I had that written down somewhere. Oh yep, Autodesk, 3ds Max, 2014, ENU, temp. So here in the temp file, it's going to create, there's the Augment app area. It's going to create one of these little dated subfolders for each augmentation that it does, and it needs to save out all of the, I had one here, it needs to save out all of the JPEGs as separate files. So what that means is that we cannot have any characters in the material names that Windows can't write into a file name. So no Windows special characters here. So render material 07638 is going to be fine. But so the first thing we need to do is check in our material library. I'm going to hit M, and we're just looking for any characters that would not be suitable in a Windows file name. So this file is going to be just fine. Oh no, there we go. I don't know if that's actually like that or not. But I'm going to rename this because it had, oh no, sorry. That's the object that it's placed on. There's the material name. So no forward slashes, no backslashes, no any other Windows special characters that cannot be included in a file name. So the materials list looked okay in this case. I'm going to go to the actual objects in the scene, select by name, and I've got just the geometry turned on. And again, just checking for any objects in the file that have a special character in the file name. That's a pretty bad example. This one doesn't have any. But often you'll get Revit materials, and if you bring through by material, oh, there we go. So /bar joist. We cannot have forward slashes and backslashes in file names. So here I will just pick that object, hit OK, and rename it without the offending slash. So that is done. Okay, so again, if you have linked in your FBX file, at this stage you will need to bind that. So if you use the link rather than the import, you will need to come in, manage links, and bind that link to the file rather than having it linked there. Then we are ready to select our objects and activate the Augment plugin. So I'm just going to select the objects I'm interested there, deselect my little north marker. So quite a few objects. And then I'm going to activate the Augment plugin there. So this is the little plugin. Again, you get it for free off their website. Runs straight into 3D Max 14. I'm using a slightly older version here. I had a few dramas with the newer version when it was brand new in beta form. So I've just reverted back to 2.14. So this links into the online account that you've got with Augment. So sorry, to upload your own models, you do in fact need an online account with the app, and it's a free one. And so what we do is we get an API key there. Don't know if I should be showing you my one, but that uploads the model into your account so that you know which ones are yours. So first of all, we've got the name of the 3D model and which objects, so that is ready to go. We've got some options here though. So with the lighting, we want to bake the lighting onto the objects. Now I've never actually done it without baking the lighting, but you know, we want to have this looking good with the current light settings from the view. So we get to choose which lighting we want to use, built-in or scene lighting. I was, again, with this older version of the plugin, having some dramas using built-in lighting, so I always go over to scene and render the scene just to make sure that it does look nice in 3D Studio Max. We can have transparent objects in the scene, so for windows and doors, we can actually set those to be a transparent object. So with the show transparency, I'll deselect here. In the current viewport, it's going to show me which objects are transparent in blue, opaque in green, and it looks like it's had some trouble because everything's showing up red here. So that's to do with the type of materials that we've used. We've used so Autodesk and Mental Ray obviously can't handle that. But if you use a standard 3D Max material for the glazing with the transparency, then they are going to in fact show up blue in the preview and then transparent once they are uploaded into the app. So a few other options about the model, again, what it looks like. If you want to link to your website at the bottom of the model, public will be your only option on the free account, but once you've paid, you can go upload private models so no one else can see them. Yeah, that's about ready to go. So we hit publish, and it takes a little while. So I did this morning, this guy, and it took just over an hour for this little bit of the scene, and it was with these settings here with the texture quality on just normal. And that was the result that we saw earlier. So once that is complete, once the render's done, it's going to link you up to the website where it takes you to a page like this and lets you scan this barcode to view your model. So that's quite nice. This barcode does expire after a little while, but to begin with, that's quite nice to just see your model in the app. Then to take it any further, we look at the actual Augment manager there. Oh, this is having a few dramas. It's saying model is too big, but it did actually work. This is my detail one here. So we can choose a few options about the model. We can categorize it for the software there. We can set the default size of the model when it first appears, and thumbnail and whatnot there. So these advanced options are again the same options that we had within the app. So I find it much easier just to upload with the default options, and then in the app position the model to the correct size, and then hit the save right there in the iPhone app. It's much easier. The last little thing I'll show you about this website is with the custom trackers area. So this is where we upload our own custom tracker. So the one that we were looking at earlier was this little JPEG. So pretty simple process. We just drag and drop the image. So in my case before it was this detail that was just a screenshot from Revit. Load that over. So we've got all of those. What are we going to do? It's going to be my, I know that's powerful. Whatever image. And then at this stage we can link that to load a certain 3D model each time that marker is scanned. So I'll go for Eiffel Tower there and just hit save. So that does take a wee while to process there. So we don't sell this app, and I've been spruiking on about the app, but it's all on their website there. It just happens to be the one that I've been using. There are a few others out there for this purpose. So another one to look into that looks pretty promising is LayR. So L-A-Y. Well, that's nice. Meant to Google that, not go there. So LayR is again they call it layers of augmented reality. Another app that does very similar things. I haven't looked at their pricing structure in a while, but again, you're looking through the magazine, scan over the image, you see the augmented version of it there. So I'm going to just now move on to looking at another little fun application that can be your little takeaway from this webinar. If you are in industry and you have an excuse to use this in the office, by all means download one of these apps and upload your own 3D models. But I just wanted to show you something to take home. So take this one home back to the office, these Augment and LayR. Take this one home for the kids. It's a bit of good fun. The Color app, so Color. So colorapp.com is one that you can take home tonight and download. So print one of these markers before you leave the office, on your home printer. So one of these A4 markers in the free area, which is what I've done. So I'm going to now switch over to my phone again, if technology lets us do so. Okay, it's working. And so the new app that we're going to look here is this Color app here. So this is a bit of a fun one, but again, just a good demonstration of augmented reality and how it can work. So Color app, it's just loading up on my phone, and I've lost my business card. So the way that this works is that you print one of those trackers that was visible on the website there. Start with just one of the free ones, and we can color that in, and down the bottom here we hit play, and it's going to again search for that certain pattern. So in this case I've downloaded the little fireworks one, and so once I can see that entire pattern there, it's actually going to augment this little scene, but with the colors that the kids have drawn on there. So not the kids, in this case it was me drawing on there earlier. So in 3D there we can see whatever color scheme the kids have chosen there is represented in 3D on the objects, and they really love it. So this is a little rocket one. I won't give away the ending just yet. So yeah, so if I hover away from that app, we can do some scribbling on here. Sorry about the jerkiness. So if I was to add some more info to that, it's going to process my scene with the new text in the up in lights there. So it is instant. It is really good if they keep scribbling on there. But I guess, yeah, the sellout one, if I put the little company logo up there and go again, we get the scene augmented, yeah, with the logo there in 3D, up in lights. And this particular scene is an interactive one, so when I click the little rockets, they go shooting off and explode, and fireworks there. So click the third rocket, so I've written that boom on there, just being silly. So yeah, just a fun use of the technology. Take it home, show the kids if they haven't seen it. My son gets a kick out of drawing it and seeing his colourful objects come to life there. Okay, so I'm just going to go through any questions that anyone had there. Where are we up to? Questions. There we go. So if you do have any that you haven't popped into the little question box yet, feel free to to do so, and I will get to them. Oh, we've got lots of questions here. Okay. Oh, crikey, someone said, should I be able to hear anything? Oh, that was earlier. A question here, what format do the models need to be in, please? So yeah, there's a few different options for uploading. It is possible just to upload a zip file with an OBJ file format, so object, 3D object there, and straight to the website. So here we have a look at one that's actually failed for me, but the materials do need to be mapped. So doing it through the Augment plugin for 3D Studio Max automates the process, the baking and the uploading, which is just really great, kind of foolproof. Well, no, not really. You've got to rename your materials, but the format, yeah, is kind of OBJ plus the render materials. So you could potentially, if you had another application that you were using, get these baked materials saved out with the right names, and then zip them up into a zip file. So you see down the bottom, all the app does is zips them together, and it uploads them all together. There's info on the website there. Just Google Augment. I think it's up the top of the Google search. And have a look at the different formats that are available. But like I said, if you can get it into 3D Max, then you can use the little app that's been created, the plugin that's been created for 3D Max to automate that process, and it's going to be far easier than trying to do it yourself there. So here we go, another question. Does the Augment app work on different platforms? Could you use it on Windows machine with a webcam? Not that I'm aware of, not with Augment and Layar. Those are both mobile device based. But there is another app that we did use at Woods Bagot, and the name escapes me. But that was the that was the point. Yes, you could use your webcam and laptop to demonstrate. So we had a webcam mounted to a camera tripod for stability, and it would be solid fixed, and we'd move the markers around. But then later on we brought in, you could pick up the tripod and move it around. I have, however, forgotten the name of that app. Kind of been a catchy name. It's going to annoy me now. So sorry about that. There are other applications that you can use out there that that do use the webcam, but don't think that those two that I showed do. So is it possible to create a one-to-one model to inhabit and walk around? Is there a GPS location? So the two apps that I've used at this stage are not GPS based. They are camera and visual tracking based. So they visually, with the phone's camera, see the marker, and that's how they realize where to put the object, the geometry. So there are a few issues with GPS at the moment. It's for positioning of objects like that. It's not really accurate enough at this stage. Normal commercial GPS systems are not accurate enough to position a building without it jumping around all over the show, and generally not being in the right place. There is a technology out called differential GPS, whereby you have a base station on, say, a building site, and from the base station to the satellites up in space, it gets the position, and then it only has to calculate the phone's position from this differential base point on site. So that will give you the sort of accuracy that you may need to be able to walk around inside of a building, but still is not going to look perfect there. So a few other thoughts in mind about how the accuracy could be increased, but yeah, so not at this stage. So question here, what are your thoughts on the AR Media app? That might have been the one I was thinking of, AR Media. That sounds familiar. There, InGlobe Technologies. Yeah, this is the one. So someone else asked, does the Augment app work with a webcam? And no, not as far as I'm aware. But this other app here, InGlobe Technologies, we downloaded that and used it with, I think we just used it with SketchUp, but there's a plugin for 3D Studio Max as well. So there we go, and on the Android and stuff. So again, another little, another company creating apps. So it wasn't a huge cost, I don't think. We got this and paid for the SketchUp plugin, and you can do some really cool things. So if you're interested, Google it, AR Media or InGlobe Technologies, and have a look at their little video there. You can sort of work with the model in augmented reality. So it's quite good. So yep, recommend having a look at that. Does that my questions done? I've lost my little question list. Yep, that must be the lot. All right, so thank you very much, everyone, for attending. This webinar will be up on our website under the webinar vault, under the events tab. So feel free to go back and watch it in slow-mo to see exactly what I did there. Sorry about rushing through. And the recorded webinar version should also be a lot higher quality. You'll be able to see the quality that I was seeing on my end, I believe. So yeah, thank you very much for coming. And if you've got any further questions, feel free to email our team. Thank you.